Lewis Hamilton stood in the Ferrari garage at Silverstone, watching a result that felt wrong. The crowd roared, but the silence inside was deafening. Fred Vasseur stared at monitors with cold realization. This was not just a bad lap. It was a moment where the car refused to speak the same language as its driver. The timing screen told one story, but the data revealed mechanical betrayal. The SF-26 looked fast in wind tunnel tests, yet felt nervous on track. Hamilton reported zero confidence in high-speed corners. Telemetry showed jagged steering inputs instead of smooth arcs, and he was not losing time due to lack of skill. He lost it because he could not trust the rear end. Vasseur saw the traces and knew the problem was in the car's soul, not the driver's foot. This changes the narrative of Hamilton's season. It is no longer about adaptation. It is about whether Ferrari can provide a platform for wins. The weakness here is not a glitch. It is a fundamental question of trust. If the car cannot promise stability, every future lap becomes a gamble. To understand Vasseur's shock, we must look beyond the lap time. Silverstone does not allow teams to hide flaws. It is a brutal auditor exposing every aerodynamic weakness. While other tracks mask issues, Silverstone demands commitment where hesitation is punished instantly. The Mags-Beckett's complex acts as a truth serum. If the aero platform is unstable, the driver feels it immediately. There is no place to mask a lack of front-end bite at speed. The SF-26 was designed for downforce efficiency, but Silverstone needs low-drag stability. This creates a dangerous compromise. Cars with sensitive rear ends lose 3/10 here because drivers cannot attack aggressively. Hamilton knows this, but when the car feels vague instinct to protect tires, overrides the urge to push. The lap looks clean on video, but feels terrible in the cockpit. This raises a frightening question for the season. If the car struggles here, how will it behave at Spa or Monza? These circuits share the same high-speed DNA. The weakness is not isolated. It is a structural trait that could haunt Ferrari on fast layouts. Understanding this requires looking at the specific forces acting on the car when it is most vulnerable. Engineers studied the steering trace and found disturbing data. Hamilton's inputs were jagged lines showing constant micro-corrections. This is the signature of a driver searching for grip. Every tiny adjustment bleeds energy from tires and slows the car invisibly. Hamilton was fighting the car through high-speed sections instead of flowing with it. He missed the confidence to carry speed, not the apexes. Throttle maps showed delayed power application on exits. This was not wheel spin. It was a conscious wait for the rear to settle. In Formula 1, these delays kill momentum on straights. The car gave mixed signals. It offered grip in turn-in, but felt light as load transferred. This inconsistency forces a driver into a defensive mindset, where protection matters more than attack. This explains why lap times did not reflect potential. Hamilton left performance on table due to lack of clarity. The car asked him to guess the limit. Guessing at 200 miles per hour is dangerous. Telemetry confirmed the issue was a fundamental mismatch in communication. To understand why this matters, we must look at how champions process uncertainty under pressure. Hamilton built his career on driving imperfect cars. But there is a difference between difficult and unclear. A difficult car needs effort. An unclear car needs guesswork. Guesswork at speed creates cognitive load that drains energy faster than physical strain. Hamilton drives with intuition. When that feedback loop breaks, his strength becomes a liability. He needs certainty to push to the absolute limit. Nico Rosberg noted that without certainty, the brain subconsciously breaks. Hamilton experienced this exactly. His experience made him more sensitive to flaws, not less. He felt subtle balance shifts others might miss. But feeling them did not mean he could fix them. It meant he was aware of danger beneath the surface. This awareness forced him to drive within a safety margin he usually ignores. The paradox is that Hamilton's adaptability masks the problem. By compensating, he prevents engineers from seeing raw failure data. He makes the car look better than it is delaying fixes. This creates a cycle where the team thinks the car is close, while the driver knows it is flawed. The gap between perception and reality is where championships are lost. Ferrari must understand this mental toll. Fred Vasseur balanced technical reality with political pressure. His shock was realizing SF-26 development prioritized peak downforce over drivability. This is a dangerous trade-off. A fast but unpredictable car is useless to a driver needing trust. Vasseur knew Hamilton's confidence was Ferrari's most valuable asset. If that eroded, the project would stall regardless of upgrades. He had to manage both the car and the man. Inside the team, the debate shifted from setup to philosophy. Engineers had to choose between making the car easier to drive or faster in straight lines. These goals often conflict. A softer suspension helps feel, but hurts stability. Vasseur faced pressure from management for results and from Hamilton for trust. These demands pulled in opposite directions, creating a strategic deadlock that required immediate resolution. Vasseur's silence was calculation. He weighed honesty against optimism. Admitting a flaw would calm Hamilton but worry fans. Pretending it was setup-related would fail to solve the problem. Vasseur knew patterns are what teams fear most. One bad weekend is explainable. A recurring weakness is a crisis. He had to determine if this was isolated or a deeper design issue. The answer defined his strategy. Silverstone previews high-speed circuits like Spa and Monza. If Ferrari struggles with stability here, it will be vulnerable there. McLaren's MCL39 offers superior consistency. They do not need to be faster everywhere. They just need to be predictable. This allows their drivers to push without fear. Red Bull watches closely. If Hamilton cannot trust the Ferrari, Verstappen can control race pace without taking risks. The championship is lost through patterns of uncertainty. A driver lacking confidence drives conservatively. This leads to early pit stops and higher tire degradation. Ferrari may be forced into defensive strategies. This creates a vicious cycle where less speed leads to more pressure. Rivals see this weakness as a target. They will push hard in qualifying to force Ferrari into uncomfortable positions. This shifts the title fight. It is about who has the most reliable platform. For Tifosi, this is painful. The promise of dominance is tested by inconsistency. For Hamilton, it is a test of belief. He joined to win, not to manage flaws. If the car cannot give him tools to fight, he must extract performance from a compromised package. The question is whether that will be enough against balanced rivals. The mystery has a technical answer. The weakness was rear aerodynamic instability under high yaw angles. This happens when the car is slightly sideways. The SF26 generated downforce in straight lines, but lost stability when airflow hit the rear wing at an angle. The back end felt light exactly when Hamilton needed it most. He lost time because the car refused to hold its line when pushed beyond safe limits. This clashed with Hamilton's aggressive style. He likes to rotate early. The Ferrari wanted him to drive straighter to keep airflow attached. This mismatch forced him to change rhythm. He delayed turn-in to keep the rear stable. These compromises added up. Data showed he was fastest in slow corners, where aero matters less. He was slowest in fast sweeps, where instability was pronounced. This explained the disconnect. Vasseur realized this was not a simple setup fix. Changing wing angle would not solve the root cause. The team needed to understand why airflow separated from the rear. This required a fundamental aerodynamic review. The revelation was not that the Ferrari was bad, it was incomplete. It had speed but lacked predictability. Fixing this would take time and resources Ferrari did not have in abundance. This moment was a necessary calibration. Hamilton and Ferrari are now forced to have an honest conversation. The gap between expectation and reality is closing through data. Vasseur knows what to fix. Hamilton knows what to expect. This clarity is more valuable than a fast lap. It provides a roadmap. The danger was never the weakness itself. The danger was ignoring it. Ferrari has chosen to face it. For Tifosi, this process is painful but necessary. The promise of return is tested by refinement. For Hamilton, it is a test of belief. He joined to make the car dangerous again. He needs precision. The SF26 is getting closer, but is not there yet. Every race is a step toward that goal. The pressure is immense, but so is the potential if they get it right. Silverstone did not break the dream. It just showed us how much work is left to build it. And in Formula One, the truth is always faster than the hope.